Napoleon Bonaparte, a name that evokes images of military conquests, political brilliance, and personal tragedy. He was a Corsican-born French military and political leader who rose to prominence during the French Revolution and went on to become one of the most influential figures in European history. He was born on August 15, 1769, in the city of Ajaccio, on the island of Corsica. His family, the Buonapartes, were of Italian descent and traced their lineage back to Tuscan nobility. However, by the time of Napoleon's birth, the Buonapartes were not particularly wealthy or influential. Napoleon was the second of 8 children born to Carlo Buonaparte, a lawyer and political activist, and Letizia Ramolino, a strong-willed and determined woman. Despite the family's modest means, they instilled in their children a sense of pride in their heritage and a belief in the importance of education. At the age of 5, Napoleon began attending a primary school in Ajaccio. He was an intelligent and inquisitive child, but he also had a fiery temper and a strong sense of independence. In 1779, at the age of 10, Napoleon was sent to the military school of Autun in mainland France. At Autun, Napoleon struggled to adapt to the strict discipline and rigid curriculum. However, he excelled in his studies, particularly in mathematics and history. In 1784, Napoleon transferred to the more prestigious military academy of Brienne-le-Château. At Brienne, Napoleon continued to excel in his studies, and he also developed a passion for military strategy and tactics. He also became increasingly aware of his Corsican identity and his desire to play a role in the political and military affairs of France. He was a bright and ambitious student, but he also had a fiery temper and a strong sense of self-worth. In 1785, Napoleon graduated from Brienne and was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the French army. He was immediately assigned to a regiment stationed in Corsica. In Corsica, Napoleon quickly gained a reputation for his intelligence, bravery, and leadership skills. He also became involved in Corsican politics, supporting the independence movement led by Pasquale Paoli. In 1789, the French Revolution began. Napoleon was a supporter of the revolution, and he saw it as an opportunity to advance his career. It was a period of radical political and societal upheaval in France that lasted from 1789 until 1799, fundamentally altering the nation's political landscape and social structure. The revolution was sparked by a combination of political, economic, and social factors, including resentment against the absolute monarchy, widespread economic hardship, and growing demands for equality and representation. Causes of the French Revolution. The French monarchy under King Louis XVI was characterized by absolute rule, with the king holding supreme power over all aspects of government. The Estates General, a representative body of the French people, had been inactive since 1614, and the king's advisors were largely drawn from the privileged nobility. This concentration of power in the hands of the monarchy and the aristocracy led to growing resentment among the common people. France's economy was in a state of crisis in the late 18th century. The country was heavily indebted, and the burden of taxation fell disproportionately on the Third Estate, which comprised the vast majority of the population. The economic crisis was exacerbated by a series of poor harvests, leading to widespread food shortages and poverty. French society was deeply divided along class lines. The First Estate consisted of the clergy, the Second Estate comprised the nobility, and the Third Estate included everyone else, including the bourgeoisie, middle class, peasants, and urban workers. The Third Estate, despite making up the vast majority of the population, had little political power or social standing. This inequality led to growing demands for reform and representation. The French Revolution had a profound and lasting impact on France and the world. It led to the overthrow of the absolute monarchy, the establishment of a republic, and the adoption of new principles of human liberty and equality. The revolution also inspired revolutionary movements throughout Europe and beyond, and its ideals continue to influence political thought today. The French Revolution was a complex and transformative event that left a lasting legacy. It challenged traditional notions of authority and power, and it laid the foundations for modern democracies and the concept of popular sovereignty. The revolution also highlighted the importance of social justice, equality, and individual rights. While the French Revolution was marked by violence and turmoil, its ideals and achievements continue to resonate today. In 1793, Napoleon was given command of the French forces in Toulon, which had been captured by the British. Napoleon led a successful siege of Toulon, and he became a national hero. The Battle of Toulon was a pivotal military engagement that took place during the French Revolutionary Wars from August 28 to December 19, 1793, in the port city of Toulon, France. The battle pitted the French Republican forces, led by a young artillery officer named Napoleon Bonaparte, against a coalition of royalist rebels and their Anglo-Spanish allies. In 1793, France was embroiled in the turmoil of the French Revolution. The country was divided between royalists, who sought to restore the monarchy, and republicans, who supported the newly established republic. The city of Toulon, a strategic naval base, became a focal point of conflict as royalist sympathizers, aided by British and Spanish forces, seized control of the city and its vital shipping fleet. The French Republican government, determined to reclaim Toulon, launched a siege of the city. Napoleon Bonaparte, then a 24-year-old artillery captain, emerged as a key strategist in the Republican forces. He proposed a daring plan to capture the strategically important Aiguillette Fort, overlooking the harbor, believing that its fall would force the coalition forces to retreat. On December 17, 1793, under the cover of darkness, Napoleon led a daring assault on the Aiguillette Fort. The attack was successful, and the fort's capture gave the French Republicans control of the harbor, effectively sealing the fate of the coalition forces. With the Aiguillette Fort in their hands, the French Republicans tightened their grip on Toulon. Recognizing their untenable position, the coalition forces, fearing retaliation from the Republican troops, decided to evacuate the city. On December 19, the British and Spanish warships set sail, taking with them many of the royalist supporters and a significant portion of the French fleet. The recapture of Toulon was a major victory for the French Republicans and a turning point in the French Revolutionary Wars. It solidified Napoleon's reputation as a brilliant military strategist, paving the way for his future rise to power. The battle also marked a brutal period of retribution against the royalist population in Toulon, with many executed or imprisoned. The Battle of Toulon stands as a testament to Napoleon Bonaparte's early military genius and strategic acumen, marking a pivotal moment in his meteoric rise to power and shaping the course of the French Revolutionary Wars. In 1796, Napoleon was appointed commander of the French army in Italy. This marked the beginning of a series of remarkable military campaigns that solidified his reputation as a master of strategy and tactics. Napoleon's victories over Austria and Italy established France as a dominant power in Europe and paved the way for his political ambitions. In 1799, Napoleon staged a coup d'état and became first consul of France. He quickly consolidated his power and began to reform France. This marked the end of the French Revolution and the beginning of Napoleon's rise to imperial power. As first consul, Napoleon implemented a series of reforms aimed at stabilizing France and consolidating his control. He established the Bank of France, introduced the Napoleonic Code, and signed the Concordat with the Pope, restoring religious peace. These measures enhanced his popularity and strengthened his grip on power. In 1804, Napoleon declared himself Emperor of France. This marked the culmination of his meteoric rise to power. The coronation ceremony was held at Notre Dame Cathedral, and Napoleon was crowned by Pope Pius VII. The establishment of the First French Empire marked a new era in French history. Napoleon centralized power, established a strong central government, and expanded the empire through a series of military conquests. At its peak, the French Empire stretched from Spain to Poland and encompassed much of Europe. Napoleon's legacy is a complex and controversial one. He was a brilliant military leader, a skilled politician, and a visionary statesman. However, he was also a ruthless dictator who caused immense suffering through his wars. Napoleon Bonaparte's rise to emperor is a captivating tale of ambition, military genius, and political astuteness. His legacy continues to fascinate and inspire, and his impact on European history is undeniable. Napoleon led France to victory in a series of wars against Austria, Prussia, and Russia. He expanded the French Empire to its greatest extent, and he became known as Napoleon the Great. Napoleon Bonaparte, the charismatic emperor who once dominated Europe, faced a series of setbacks that ultimately led to his downfall. His meteoric rise to power was overshadowed by a combination of strategic errors, political miscalculations, and the resurgence of a united Europe determined to halt his expansionist ambitions. In 1812, Napoleon launched a disastrous invasion of Russia, hoping to subdue the vast empire and secure his dominance in the east. However, the Russian winter, logistical challenges, and fierce resistance from the Russian army proved insurmountable. Napoleon's Grande Armée was decimated, marking a turning point in his fortunes. As Napoleon's star began to fade, a coalition of European powers formed to oppose his rule. In 1813, at the Battle of Leipzig, also known as the Battle of Nations, Napoleon suffered a major defeat, weakening his grip on power and emboldening his enemies. In 1814, after a series of defeats, Napoleon was forced to abdicate the throne and was exiled to the island of Elba. Despite his exile, his ambition remained undimmed, and he soon plotted his return to power. In 1815, Napoleon escaped from Elba and made a dramatic return to France. This period, known as the 100 Days, saw him regain power and raise a new army. However, his reign was short-lived. At the Battle of Waterloo, Napoleon faced his final defeat, marking the end of his imperial ambitions. After his defeat at Waterloo, Napoleon was exiled once again, this time to the remote island of St. Helena. Napoleon Bonaparte, the former emperor of France, passed away on May 5, 1821, at the age of 51, while in exile on the remote island of St. Helena. The exact cause of his death remains the subject of debate, with various theories proposed over the years. The official cause of death, recorded by Napoleon's personal physician, François Carlo Antomarchi, was stomach cancer. Antomarchi performed an autopsy and observed extensive stomach ulcers, which he believed were the cause of Napoleon's death. Despite the official diagnosis, several alternative theories have emerged regarding Napoleon's death. One theory suggests that he was poisoned with arsenic, possibly administered over an extended period. This theory is based on the presence of high levels of arsenic in Napoleon's hair samples. Another theory suggests that Napoleon died from mercury poisoning, which could have been caused by the use of calomel, a mercury-containing medication that was commonly used at the time. The debate surrounding Napoleon's death has persisted for centuries, with historians and scientists continuing to analyze the evidence and propose new theories. The exact cause of death may never be definitively determined, but the various theories provide insights into the medical practices and challenges of the era. Beyond the specific cause of death, other factors likely contributed to Napoleon's health decline and eventual demise. His exile on St. Helena was a period of isolation and physical inactivity, which may have weakened his immune system and exacerbated any underlying health conditions. Napoleon Bonaparte's death remains a topic of historical fascination and medical intrigue. While the official cause of death was stomach cancer, the possibility of arsenic poisoning or other contributing factors continues to be debated. The various theories surrounding his death provide a window into the medical practices and challenges of the early 19th century. Factors contributing to Napoleon's fall. Overextension of the empire. Napoleon's relentless expansionist campaigns stretched his resources and manpower thin, creating vulnerabilities that his enemies exploited. Strategic mistakes. Napoleon's decision to invade Russia proved disastrous, and his subsequent military blunders hastened his downfall. Napoleon Bonaparte's fall from power is a story of ambition, strategic missteps, and the resurgence of a united Europe. His legacy remains complex and debated, but his impact on European history is undeniable. Napoleon's legacy is complex and controversial. He was a brilliant military leader and a skilled politician, but he was also a ruthless dictator. His wars caused millions of deaths, and his expansionist policies led to the rise of nationalism in Europe. Despite his flaws, Napoleon's legacy is also one of progress. He reformed the French legal system, introduced new technologies, and spread Enlightenment ideas throughout Europe. Napoleon Bonaparte was a towering figure in European history. His life was a story of ambition, achievement, and tragedy. He left an indelible mark on the world, and his legacy continues to be debated today. As we close this documentary, let us remember Napoleon not only for his battlefield victories and political maneuvers, but also for the profound impact he had on European history. His legacy is a complex tapestry of achievements and failures, a testament to the power of human ambition and the fragility of empires. Napoleon Bonaparte, a man who once held Europe in his grasp, now rests in his tomb on the remote island of St. Helena. His story serves as a reminder of the impermanence of power and the enduring lessons of history.